vatin rainieri harin no hariu haro you awele harin no hariu moxa vatin rainieri harin no hariu haro you awele harin no hariu.
Welcome everybody, my name is Tad Hargrave and I'm here in my porch in Edmonton, Alberta, and I'm recording this video for you about a very special project that's coming up around Gaelic issues in the world. If you're like me, you may not live in Cape Breton or Nova Scotia or Scotland or anywhere where Gaelic is still spoken. And yet you're probably still really passionate about it. You might be taking classes, reading books, listening to tapes, taking online courses, maybe traveling once in a while to Scotland or Nova Scotia to deepen that. And if you're like me, you are really passionate about it and you want to support it. And there's a project that's happening in Nova Scotia. It's going to be in Cape Breton at the beginning of May. And it's bringing together about 25 young leaders in the Gaelic community in Nova Scotia. Young people who are really the future of the language. And the situation right now with Gaelic, as you know, is fairly dire on one hand, but hopeful on the other. It's dire because in Scotland there are less than 60,000 native speakers, and in Cape Breton those are being lost all too often. And the community works so hard. They stretch every single dollar, every penny. They do incredible work. So many volunteer hours to put on events and festivals and classes to keep the language and the culture strong. So we're planning an event and we're almost there on the budget. We need to raise about $20,000 and we've got a little bit over $10,000 raised. So we've got a bit more to go, but the idea of reaching out to the community didn't make a lot of sense because the community is already so stretched. Every amount of funding they get, they really just get every bit they can from it. And they're already investing so much. But it seemed to me that there are a lot of people in the world like me who love Gaelic, who love the culture and want to support it. And some of us probably wish we could move to Nova Scotia or Scotland and live our lives there and be more immersed in it, but for whatever realities we're not. And yet there's still things we can do. And this event is something I'm so passionate about because it's really rare that young leaders in Nova Scotia get a chance to come together. They may not even see themselves as young leaders, but these young people that are so committed to the language and faithful to their culture. It's rare that they get a chance to come together outside of Kaylee's or workshops to really just talk about how can we make these next 10 years in Nova Scotia even stronger for the language than it's been before. Because for all too long it's been a downward slope, and yet the work of so many people is turning this around, and the future of this work is going to be these young people. So this is a type of thing that hasn't happened before in this way. And your support will help make it happen. So what we're asking for is your financial support. And that could be $5, $10, $50, $100, $1,000, whatever you want to give to make it happen. This money is going to go to make sure that we have the venue and the food, paid for, the facilitators paid for, so that this can be a sustainable thing, and possibly even filmed is one of our hopes, so that we can share that with you, the good work that's happening in Cape Breton. So your support makes such a difference. The event's going to happen anyways, and it can be even better, even stronger with your support. And we're hoping, honestly, that this is the beginning of a larger relationship, because there's so much incredible work happening in Nova Scotia, this Gaelic stronghold in North America, one of the only places where Gaelic is really spoken in any meaningful way anymore, where the culture is still held so strongly. And we're hoping this can be the beginning of a connection between a diaspora of people who are so passionate about the language with a community where it's really happening. We hope that this might turn into more support for future projects, that it might turn into you visiting Nova Scotia and Cape Breton and really being able to connect with the community more. So that's it. You can read more below about the project. We hope you'll consider supporting it. We hope you'll consider spreading the word, sharing this on Facebook, on Twitter, anywhere you can share it, telling your friends. If you're in a Gaelic class, if you can maybe bring this to the class and share it with them to spread the word about this important event. I think it's a really important event for the future of Gaelic in Nova Scotia, because it is bringing together the generation that's going to be carrying it forward. And we're hoping this is going to be an annual event, which is why if this event goes really well and we can set aside a little bit of a nest egg, it means that this event may actually happen next year, and perhaps every year after that, a space where the young leaders of Cape Breton can come together, and Nova Scotia, really, the Gaelic community, can come together to sit with each other and talk about what is the future, what are our hopes, what are our fears, what's working, what's not working, and to build that community and those relationships even more deeply every year. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening. Mór an taingear san na chléinsin. Agus beannach léamh the whole daine, and hopefully we'll get to see you in Nova Scotia at some point in an event. Thanks so much.